It all started on a night I thought would be ordinary. She said, "I'm meeting my boss for dinner. Just dinner." That sentence hit me like ice water. Simple words, innocent claim, but something in my gut twisted. Dinner with her boss. Sounds harmless, right? But trust doesn't live on words alone. It lives in actions, feelings, tension between lines. As I drove alone that evening, my mind spun stories, possibilities, warnings. I tried to calm myself. Don't read into it. But the voice inside me whispered louder. The restaurant lights, her perfume lingering, these pictures formed in my head. I told myself, maybe I'm just insecure. Yet every minute passed as a countdown. I arrived early. I watched the front door. The lights inside. She walked in, smiling, but was that smile for me tonight or for someone else? Inside, I trembled. I tried to appear relaxed. When she finally texted, "Just finishing up," a chill ran across my spine. I waited at the curb, my heart pounding. What if this really was just dinner? But what if it wasn't? I rehearsed conversations in my head, jokes, calm tones. How was dinner? But beneath the calm script, fear pulsed. She came out late. Her hair was down, her makeup soft. But in that moment, even the smallest detail screamed, this was not just dinner. She slipped into the car. I tried to gauge her mood, quiet, distant, uneasy. I said, "How was dinner?"
She paused. "Fine," she said.
One word. That's all. I stared at her in the rearview mirror. "Fine," I asked again. Her eyes flicked away. "Why so late?" I pressed. She said, "Traffic." I nodded, but my mind was deaf to her excuses. I asked, "You looked different." Silence. "Is something wrong?" She sighed. "No, but I know how someone says no when everything inside screams yes." We drove home in silence. The radio played songs, but none pierced the tension. In the bathroom mirror later, I watched her reflection. The softness in her eyes flickered. She used to laugh openly. Tonight she was distant. I asked her to tell me about dinner, who sat where, what was discussed, small details to test the story. She gave vague answers. My fear grew. That night I lay awake, watching her sleep. I asked myself, do I wake her?
Confront now?
Or wait for evidence? The mind races in shadows. I choose to wait, but my heart is already making decisions. The next day, I pretended to go to work, but I couldn't. I lingered near her phone, glancing at messages, nothing obvious. Yet the tone, timing, notifications felt different. I watched her leave for work, dressed professionally, lips barely curved in a smile. I followed at a discreet distance. She drove to the same district where that restaurant stood. My hands gripped the steering wheel. Inside me warred, man of logic, man of suspicion. When she dropped in somewhere, I parked 2 blocks away and peeked. Her boss's car was there too, parked close. My breath caught. They met. I saw her walk in. I held my phone, ready, hands trembling. But fear froze me from filming. I didn't want proof right now. I needed conviction. I watched them talk through the window. Body language. Leaning in, close faces, hands not far apart. A part of me shouted, "Run in now." Another whispered, "Wait." I left before they came out. But I carried their silhouettes in my eyes. Back home, I crafted a plan. I'd confront when she least expects it, at a neutral point. I'd ask, beg for honesty. I'd prepare for denial, for tears, for anger. But inside, I knew what I would say. I trusted you. Do you love me or someone else now? I rehearsed this in my car in the mirror. The mind cracks when love and betrayal dance too close. That evening I watched her, tried to read every flicker in her face. I said casual things. She responded with calm. But calm built walls. That night, I slept lightly, one ear attuned to her breathing. My world narrowed to suspicion, fear, yearning for truth. 2 nights later, I confronted her. We sat across the table in our living room. I looked into her eyes and said, "I saw you with your boss." She stiffened. "What do you mean?" she asked. My voice cracked, but I held firm. Your boss, in his car, in that same area. At dinner. She swallowed, eyes glistening. You're imagining things. I shook my head. I spoke slowly, clearly. Don't lie to me now. I need truth. Do you love him? She burst. Why would you say that? I said. Because I see your distance. I feel the lies.
She cried.
I didn't cheat. I asked. Then prove it. She searched for words, silence stretching. I asked. Show me messages, logs, let me see. Let me in. She refused. Her refusal was proof. Her tears tangled with silence. She said, I deserve your trust. I said, trust doesn't live in demands. It lives in actions. I told her I needed to believe or to know. She stood, left the room.
The door closed.
I sat, heart pounding, waiting. My mind was no longer able to wander. It zeroed in on betrayal or rescue. Hours passed. She finally returned, distant. I'm sorry, she said. But apology is light when the wound feels deep. The rest of that night was hollow. I lay beside her, but my soul was elsewhere. Out in the dark, asking, why did you hide? Why these games? I resolved. If she continues to refuse transparency, if she continues to hide, then what was promised, love, fidelity, collapses. I told myself, I will not break first. I will get the truth. Either we fix this or we end this. The final answer is coming. Over the following days, I watched every move. I asked again for messages. I asked to see her phone. I asked innocuous questions designed to test her steadiness. She responded defensively. You don't trust me. I said, I trusted too much. Now I need proof. She hesitated, insisted it was invasive. I told her, I'm not asking to violate your privacy. I'm asking to save us. In my heart, I already felt the chances slip. But I held on. I watched how she moved, more guarded, more tense. Spontaneous texts, sudden exits, red flags. I told her friends I was going through stress. I avoided exposing my investigation. I hired a private investigator, not to spy, but to collect facts, confirm or deny. He followed subtle clues, location pings, times, patterns. Little by little, a pattern formed. That same restaurant district, that same boss's area, repeated late departures, matching timestamps. The pattern was not proof alone, but strong pressure. I confronted her again with small data points. You were in that district last week. She denied. You left at midnight on Tuesday. She cried, denied. My investigator texted me a photo, a silhouette, a partial car plate, a proximity map. My pulse skyrocketed. I waited for the right moment. I would reveal the photo when she least expects. I'd offer a final chance, truth or heartbreak. Meanwhile, I tried to salvage conversations. If it's nothing, let me in. She begged me to believe. I balanced on that razor's edge, hope and dread. I rehearsed how I would ask the final question. When the moment comes, I'd say, show me, or we don't continue. The confrontation would be inevitable. I prepared emotionally, for heartbreak, for rage, for closure. Each night I asked again, can I still trust you? Silence answered point. One evening, I returned home early. I told her, I want dinner together. She agreed.
We sat down.
I watched how she acted. Nervous, fidgety. I kept calm. We talked about her day. I listened. Then, halfway, I said, I have something to show you. I handed her a printout. A map, timestamps, an image, the one investigator sent. I looked at her face, shock, anger, shame.